Hello gamers, Matt Lemke here with True Gamer Goggles at Con on the Cob 2012, Hudson, Ohio with Will Thrasher.
Got it.
We are going to talk a little bit about his career, where his career is going, the new Life LARP that I guess you actually kind of made it, right?
Yeah, I did. I wrote the original version of it, and then from this point I'm developing it in conjunction with Andy Hop.
And he just brought up a good point that he does a movie podcast, so we'll talk about that a little bit too.
All right.
So, how long have you been writing?
I've been writing for are you talking just professionally or just in general?
Well, let's say professionally.
Professionally, probably about the past 4 years or so. I'd done little bits and pieces of writing before then. My first real kind of official writing I did was back in 1994. I got invited by 2004. I got invited by Mac McLaughlin to be on the Cthulhu Live 3rd edition development team. So I wrote some bits and pieces that are in the third edition rule book, and I helped develop some of the new system that went into there. And it's actually from that most of what I do today is grown out of.
Yeah, you do a lot of Cthulhu, which is kind of foreign to me. Still, to this date, yeah. Well, I'm more of a mini gamer. My role-playing experience was D&D in 3rd grade, so I'm not sure Cthulhu was around back then.
He's been around for a while. The games, the
game.
Not
I'm
quite
referring
as
to
long.
the game. And then, how long have you been with Skirmisher?
Well, Skirmisher did Cthulhu Live 3rd edition, so really since 2004.
Oh, okay.
The whole reason that happened is I had been organizing Cthulhu Live events on my college campus, and when I graduated, this was the Savannah College of Art and Design. And when I graduated that summer, I went up to Gen Con, and Robert Mike McLaughlin, the creator of the game, was there, and I got to play one of his games, and I showed him. I wanted to show him that we on the campus appreciated the game, so I showed him a bunch of photos from some of our events, and I brought a bunch of the props that we had built for him, and he was really impressed. And it was a few months later they decided to move ahead with the new edition, and he kept my contact information from that one time we met, and he contacted me and asked me if I wanted to be on board.
That's always flattering.
Yeah.
And then, let's see. Well, you have been still are working on, you've kind of created the Life LARP.
Yep. Which
is kind of sentimental to Con on the Cob, since Andy Hop created Life.
Yep.
And, let's talk about the difference between a LARP and actual role-playing.
Well, I mean, the main difference is in a LARP. Ideally you're up and around. I guess the easiest way to explain it is it's tabletop, but in 3 dimensions, because you're not limited to the table. You're up and around. You're using what the space that's provided. Things are going to get a bit more physical depending on the depth of immersion the GM or the organizer of the event has tried to create.
So it's not really a big step.
Not really. The biggest thing is that most live action rule systems just don't involve dice, so something has to substitute that level of randomization.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Some do rock, paper, scissors. Some do throwing hands. Some do drawing cards. Then the system that we use, that we're using for the Life LARP, which was originally developed by my kind of side company, Kettlefish Productions, that I do with my friends Jason Aaron and Brandon Petrie. It's all done through multiplication. So the idea, we know that not everybody is necessarily going to want to get deep into the math, but we figured that out. The actual system that we use and that the Life LARP is going to use is called 6x6, because you never have to do any math more complicated than multiplying the number 6 by the number 6, which is 36.
Oh, yeah, that's simple enough. It's like
114
pi squared times 112.
No, nothing like that.
No, go away. Hurt me now. And you're running 2 a day at the show.
Yep.
So, are they all different, or do they repeat?
They are all different. Now, that being said, we have we go to Origins every year, and for the Origins crowd is a great crowd. It's probably the best LARP crowd that we ever work with. With Origins, we will sometimes do encores and special request events that are on schedule. So if people at Con of the Cob came to me saying, hey, I heard you run this game, but we couldn't be there, or I know it's not on the schedule, could you pull it off? If you can bring me the players, I will make the game happen anytime.
Oh, wow. So you probably have, 12 scenarios then?
I have lots of scenarios.
This man likes low life, apparently.
Yeah, well, we have one for low life that's written, and another one which is in the beginning stages. Which, with any luck, will be here at Con on the Cob next year. The one we're doing here, which is the one we premiered at this past Gen Con, is called Not for Profit, and the whole premise. Do you know if your audience is familiar with low life?
Well, some are lately.
Well,
I've had a lot of contact with Andy the last year.
Cool. Well, I mean, I guess for people who don't know, the short of it is that it's a post-apocalyptic role-playing game, but it is the most apocalyptic of apocalypses. The humans are completely wiped out, and the Earth has been inherited by evolved cockroaches, evolved Twinkies, evolved piles of garbage, and just all these terrible things are now in charge of the world, or what's left of the world, which is just a really messed up place. And so the premise behind Not for Profit, it takes place in this world, and there is the intelligent garbage, the piles. There's a pile called Stain the Persistent, who's a prophet, and he spent the last 50 years in the desert asking the gods the question, why? And finally, the gods have given him an answer, so he returns to civilization to tell everybody the answer to the question, why? And that's the inciting incident from which all the action of the game springs.
Wow. Why?
Why? Why with
you can do a lot with why, believe it or not.
Why with an exclamation point and a question mark. But not all caps.
But yeah, not all caps. I have seen professors list that as a test question.
Interesting.
It's not pretty.
The oddest test question like that I got was, which interestingly enough I got right, was in I think 4th grade. This was on a test. Who put the bop in the bop shabop shabop? And I was the only person who got it right because I answered the same man who put the ram in the ram and I'm a ding dong.
So you didn't have to know the name to get it right. I like that. That was good.
Well, he's known more for that collection of words.
Fair. You've been working a lot on D-Infinity,
Yep.
and you were just talking about how you guys are thinking about doing a whole spaceship map series.
Yeah.
Will that stay in the magazine, or will that be something beyond the magazine?
Well, it's probably going to be both. The idea we did when we did Volume 4 of the Infinity that we released at Comic Palooza this past year. It had an article which was a 2-page spread map of the inside of a UFO, a flying saucer, and everything labeled. It was all with a grid so that you could use it. You could use it in any game that uses any kind of grid-based movement, whether it's Pathfinder or Savage Worlds or whatnot. Right now, our plan is we're working on 2 products related to that. They're both going to be stripped down Starship deck plans. One is going to be for UFOs and other kind of pulp style and classic 1950s sci-fi style alien craft, and then the other is going to be pulp and 1950s sci-fi rocket craft. Right now, I believe we're calling it Invader deck plans and Patrol rocket deck plans. And we've already got the first 2 rockets designed, and what we're probably going to do, we're thinking we'll probably have maybe 8 or so of each deck plan in each set, but what we'll probably do is we'll excerpt 1 or 2 of those, and those will be appearing in future volumes of D-Infinity. So the UFO you saw is just going to be one of the many UFOs that are going to be in the UFO version. And the next volume of D-Infinity should have at least one of the patrol rockets we've already got designed. The two that we already have designed and ready to go are a basic patrol rocket, which is like a real basic rocket with crew quarters, storage, and laser gun turrets. And the other one we've got designed is the boarding and raiding rocket, which is perfect for space pirates. The front of the rocket is a little drill, so you can, with an extendable airlock, so you drill into the other ship and can send your troops in.
I like that extendable airlock thing. I like that a lot. let's see. What else? What would you say some of your greater highlights have been?
One highlight that was really awesome is I recently wrapped up some work for Paizo. If you played, I believe the adventure path is Skull and Shackles. It's the Pathfinder module number 60. I met some of the people at Paizo at Gen Con year before last, and they had actually seen some of my work in the Infinity. I'd done an article about human-monster hybrids as player character races. Like you could be half human, half vampire, half human, half ghoul, that kind of thing. And they liked it, and I was lucky enough to get a chance to really talk with them. And they let me work on this particular book, and so I designed a monster for it, the N6 Sloshval, which is otherwise known as the Faceless Whale. It's this undersea monster. It's a breed of whale that's been trapped in these subterranean oceans for so long that they've lost all of their skin pigmentation and they've lost their eyes, kind of like cave trout and cave fish.
Oh, okay.
And they're just and they're meant to be very disturbing deep sea predators. And the artwork that they produced for it was amazing. So I was thrilled to work with Paizo. Another career highlight, we've done with Kettlefish Productions. We've done LARPs at a number of conventions, and we did a series of LARPs based on the Warhammer 40,000 role playing games, Dark Heresy, Rogue Trader, Death Watch, Black Crusade. And whenever possible, we try to record videos of our LARPs, and we edit them together, set them to music, and put them online because we want to share our hobby and share what our players do with people. And so we've been posting them online and posting them to the Fantasy Flight Games Warhammer roleplay forums. And a couple of years ago at Gen Con, I met Ross Watson and I believe it's John Whedon. Forgive me if I'm getting his name wrong, but they were two of the heads of those games at Fantasy Flight, and I introduced myself to them and said, well, my group is the one that had been posting the videos online, and their faces lit up, and that was you, and we now have it from the horse's mouth. They watch our videos and they like them. So now when we record videos, they've actually offered us some prize support, which is really awesome. We actually got 2 Death Watch limited editions.
Limited.
Yes, not with the fancy case, just the book. But even then,
the
that's
book
amazing.
is really beautiful.
And so now, whenever we record the videos, we actually have our players give a thank you to Fantasy Flight. So we're from the creators to the fans, and then back from the fans to the creators.
That's a good feat.
And then if I can get a third career highlight, and this is just the most recent one because it happened today, myself and Michael Varhola, I co-authored a book with Michael Varhola, The Jester Dragon's Guide to Defects. And I didn't just co-author it, I did all the illustrations. It's all my own original artwork. And it was a real thrill working with him, just writing the book, crafting the book, and I had a real blast doing the illustrations. And that came out as a PDF on Drive-Thru-RPG this very day. We were able to get it so we could release it for Con on the Cob.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I was actually not expecting it when it showed up for me. But
a pleasant surprise?
Yes, it is a pleasant surprise. And then, what's the name of this podcast you do?
Oh, the podcast. Well, myself and my friend Matt Shergy, who I went to college with, who lives out in Portland, Oregon. He and I, and sometimes when they're available, Jason Aarons and Brandon Petrie, we do a movie podcast called the Sequel Cast. And the premise is we review movie franchises one movie at a time. So that's the rule. There has to be a sequel or prequel, and we'll pick a series or a franchise of films, and we'll dedicate one episode to each installment. And then we've recently, actually in the past couple of months, kind of expanded the format. In addition to those regular episodes, we will also do special episodes where we'll pick a more general topic, such as like a film franchise is just too sprawling for us to do every installment without going insane, or the work of a particular director, or we did a great episode around sequels that were never made. It was pretty cool. And then the other thing we do now are sequel cast commentaries, where we take sequels and we record our own unique audio commentary for them. Our tradition is we try to do either the third parts of trilogies or franchise killers, but we've kind of been a bit more flexible. We just released our first set of commentaries for a complete film franchise, which was All Dogs Go to Heaven and All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. And that's on www.sequelcast.com.
And how long is an episode, roughly?
We try to go for about an hour. Usually they're about 45 minutes or so. There's some of our specials will run over.
Okay. So what do you have planned for the future?
A couple of things, actually. I'll go ahead and get the vaguest one out of the way. Mike Verhola and I are going to be co-authoring another book in the Jester Dragons series, but I can't yet say what that's going to be. But there is going to be another big follow-up to the Jester Dragons Guide to Defects. Could be the Jester Dragons Guide to Monsters, could be the Jester Dragons Guide to Feats, could be the Jester Dragons Guide to Cursed Magical Items. I can't say yet, but I think you'll be hearing from it soon. As far as other things, Andy Hopp and I are continuing to develop the Life LARP as its own standalone project under the title Playing Dirty.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice title.
We had fun coming up with that.
I bet. That's a good title.
And it's going to live up to that name. If anyone who knows Low Life and knows Andy Hopp and knows me will know that we can live up to that.
That's
title.
actually kind of scary.
Then in addition to that, my own group with the one that I do with Jason Aarons and Brandon Petrie, Kettlefish Productions. We're not just gonna be a company that organizes events at conventions. We're getting ready to start publishing our own material. Our first big project is, of course, going to be to release our core LARP rule set that we've been developing over the past 3 years. And once that's out, we're also going to start releasing some of our scenarios. So, and we're going to cover. We've tried to do everything we can to make our LARP system as flexible as possible, so that you can. We have tweaked it in any number of ways, both in play testing it and in trying to streamline it for certain types of games. And we're keeping that in the rule book. The core rule book is going to have the basic resolution mechanics, and then all these sort of optional subsystems you can plug in based on whether you want to do a pulp adventure LARP or a gritty sci-fi LARP or a whimsical fantasy LARP. So that it'll be very easy to streamline for what you want to do. And we're going to be releasing a lot of different scenarios. And each scenario is going to be kind of a different genre, may have some additional special rules. We have not finalized it, but the plan is most likely going to be we're going to release our Arabian Nights LARP scenario shortly after the book, our Japanese mythology LARP shortly after the core rule book, and one of our Western LARPs. We have a series of Western LARPs, the Terra Firma LARPs, and the first one is a High Noon at Terra Firma, the Wild West LARP that almost isn't. The second one is Midnight at Terra Firma, the Wild West LARP that just plain ain't, and the third one is Sunsets on Terra Firma, the Wild West LARP that just might be. And we're gonna be releasing one of those as well, and these are all very different genres, kind of very different styles of play with very different characters. Just one to show how flexible the system is, but two, to really get a lot more variety out there. There isn't as much variety in published LARPs as you might think, and we really want to change that.
Yeah, I haven't LARPed yet.
Oh, yeah?
I've looked at it and I'm like, I don't have a costume.
You don't necessarily need a costume.
I know that, but I would feel odd without a costume LARPing.
Well, I'll tell you what. We've got two Cthulhu LARPs we're doing. The return of Cyrus Crane and Yarla Hotep and Miss Jones. They both take place in the 20th century. So if you have anything roughly modern, that can be your costume.
Okay.
So and really with Cthulhu, all you really need is just kind of like a button-down shirt. You can pretend to be any kind of professional.
That's right, you can, since it's modern. Yeah. And those are here?
Yep.
Wow. Well, that was a good interruption, and we're back now. I think we were moving into what Will's aspirations are for his future gaming career.
Well, thankfully, I'm already doing a lot. I've got source books out there that my name is on. I've been able to work with awesome companies like Skirmisher, Paizo, Fantasy Flight Games, and now Mother Oath Creations. So from here, it's going to be getting Kettlefish Productions off the ground as a successful publishing company, and we're not going to be exclusively about LARPs. It's just that's what we're known for, so that's where we're going to start. But we've got 2 card games and a board game in development, which hopefully we'll have one of those out by this time next year if everything goes according to plan. If things don't go according to plan, we're still going to push ahead with it. It's going to be seen and played by some people. Beyond that, I've got a short story that's going to be coming out in the Swords of Coast Hecaton, which is an anthology series based around Skirmisher Swords of Coast Swords and Sorcery campaign setting. Beyond that, stuff I want to do in the future, want to write the great American novel and get that out into people's hands. I would love to do a web series. I'm always messing around and doing things with video. I was involved with the Swords of Coast Kickstarter, and as a special reward for our backers, I promised that I would do a monkey puppet show. And our project got funded, so I did do a monkey puppet show, and I had a lot of fun doing that, and was able to do some fun things with a monkey puppet and this alien Cthulhu puppet that I had built with the help of my girlfriend Sarah Allen, and so I would love to put together some sort of weekly puppet based web series. Whether it would involve monkey puppets, I don't know, but we've got the duplex where we're living has a great garage. I could very easily build some sort of set in there, get a cast of 2 or 3 puppets, do all the voices myself. That would be real fun to do.
That would be fun.
Of course, then visit India, visit Japan, visit at least one of the planet's magnetic poles. There's still plenty of things I'd love to see and do and have done to me.
He wants things done to him, people. I'm going to leave that alone.
All right.
Well, I think that about wraps it up, unless you have something you want to share that you have hidden from everybody.
No, this isn't a blackmail video, so I feel no reason to let the deep dark secrets.
I've got nothing for you to blackmail out of me anyway.
Well, I'll do some sort of tell-all biography about myself at some point. That'll have all those details.
Yeah, it'll be a page. Anyway, Matt Lemke with Will Thrasher from Con on the Cob 2012, Hudson, Ohio. You should be here, people. Well, by the time you see this, it'll be over. You should be here anyway.
We'll be here next year. Be here Con on the Cob 2013.
Yes, and if you can't wait that long, AnCon's in the spring.
Excellent.
And then there's always Origins and Gen Con, which you shouldn't miss.
Yeah.
Gen Con.
Again, I will be there. If you're going to be at Origins Gen Con next year, check out the Kettlefish Productions LARP events. We've got some amazing stuff planned for both conventions.
And there'll be more information about some other stops on the blog with this post. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you actually do want to go visit the website. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.